And good morning, good morning, good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from the nation's capital here in the United States, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson. And of course, I'm glad you're here with us. I'm joined today by my very special friends, Sheila Applegate and D'Angelo Thompson. Good morning, guys.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Wow. It seems as though spring is starting to sprung here in Washington, D.C. I've been hearing like the birds coming back and of course the squirrels are always around, but they're a little bit more active. How about where you guys are? Do you feel like spring is starting to come?
I felt spring, but we're due for a snowstorm today, so that's
Oh
why I
gosh.
giggled.
Oh,
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not over yet, but we'll
Oh
see.
my gosh.
I don't know
Uh,
how much. I think just 6 inches.
what about you, D?
pretty mild in New York City. I was in Chicago this past weekend, and it was mild too. The first day, Friday, was 28 degrees, which is cold.
Right,
But
right.
Saturday and Sunday was close to the mid 50s, and it's pretty mild. So I do feel spring in the air for sure.
Yay. Well, I bring all this up because as spring is approaching, I think a lot of us are thinking about how we can improve our health, right?
Mhm.
And so, but the question is, how do we even start? So, before we get into this, I just want to remind everybody, listen, we want your questions, your comments, your thoughts. Post them right here to our live chat on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll, do a shout out to you. We'll post your question or your comment because this is an interactive conversation. Um, have either one of you ever used any non-traditional ways of healing, and has it worked for you? So Sheila, I'll go to you first.
Well, that's sort of like asking a doctor if they've ever used medicine. But I am a healer. I've been a healer since the late 90s. As a Reiki master, I'm trained in EMDR and Jori, which is another energy healing. But I've also used it all along for myself and had tremendous results as well. I really believe in the integration
Mhm.
of the energy healing, non-traditional healings, and then the modern medicine.
Wow. What about you, D?
I would agree with Sheila. It's definitely an integration of Western and Eastern medicine. For me, I use light energy,
Mhm.
literally meditating on it and running it through my body,
Mm.
and oftentimes with others, which is a kind of a form of Reiki. Trying to see what other modalities I've used. Yeah, just meditation and just being in tune with your body. And one thing I've started just in the past few years is not giving myself like resolutions or it's spring, let's do this. It's actually an ongoing 365 days
Right,
type of thing,
Mhm.
right,
So really being in the consciousness of constantly doing it and not just like, oh, when April comes, I'm going to do this.
right, right, right. I look at these things, the seasons, as like different flavors of wellness.
Mhm.
Mm.
Roller
And
coaster.
Mhm.
so right. And so, I love the fact that both of you are not only practicing kind of like all these different modalities of wellness, but you're also telling people, listen, you can just do this anytime. You don't have to wait until something's like I'm paraphrasing, but like don't wait till something's wrong to do it, right?
Right.
Right. Do it
That this
every
can be
day.
part of
Yeah.
your daily practice. Um,
Mhm.
there's a great passage I wanted to kind of start more of this conversation about wellness on, and it goes: balance, interconnectivity, proactivity.
Mm,
These are the cornerstones of Eastern medicine and the reason it's been keeping people healthy for more than 2,000 years. And not just in the East. The United
Mhm.
States and other Western nations have adopted traditional Chinese medicine over the past few decades, integrating it into conventional methods for a more comprehensive, effective approach to healthcare. And this is from the Eastern
mhm,
School of Acupuncture and Traditional Medicine. And so
mhm.
today, everybody, our hot topic for today is taking wellness to the next level. I think it's important that we look holistically at our health. And you know, traditional Western medicine is great, but I find that it's more reactionary than it is proactive.
Yes.
And so, you know, my question to both of you is, and I'll go to you first on this. Why hasn't the West adopted more Eastern techniques?
It's about capitalism, right?
Mm,
So I'll say that,
all
and then
right.
I'll move on to
Yeah.
something more light filled. I've gone to Sloan Kettering a few times to see friends.
Hmm.
Many of them are in remission or cancer free for many, many years. But what I noticed during those visits is there was a violinist in the room with them, or there was a dog or a
Mm,
pet or something in the room with them.
yeah.
Classical music, many massage therapists, you name it. So I found at Sloan Kettering in particular, and I've seen this with my own eyes, that they were incorporating other forms of relaxation, healing to get the person in the right mindset to prepare themselves for whatever, just to heal and be cancer free. So I think we are exploring it, but also I think it's still pharmaceutical driven in many places.
What about you, Sheila? What do you think?
I guess at first I would like to just I like to look at this modern medicine versus traditional, not giving the modern medicine the word traditional. And
Mm,
also, I just want to make a note that often indigenous people or traditions from around the world, not just Eastern, because I've relied a lot on the indigenous people of the United States of Americas as well. So making that discernment is important. And then and as you were saying, I do believe it has to do with capitalism and a split that is between the two being okay. And I think when we
Right.
open up to the possibility, and more science is proving that energy fields around us are real, and a lot of modern medicine that we speak of and pharmaceuticals actually come from the same plant that
Right.
traditional medicine. So
Right.
it's
yes.
not as far
Yes.
away as our minds think it is.
Right.
True.
I mean, what like aspirin is from the roots and bark of trees, basically in the Amazon. I mean that's it. It's why
Mhm.
when people were in pain, they would chew on some bark. It would
Right.
literally relieve the pain that they had because it's the same thing. Um, uh, this is another passage from that great article from the Eastern School that I read from earlier. It said a major difference between Western and Eastern medicine lies in the basic approach. Whereas modern Western thought seeks medicine as a means of symptom relief and cures, Eastern medicine seeks to find the cause and achieve prevention by finding balance and harmony within our bodies and with the outside world. It is believed that we can prevent disease and attain greater well-being. I mean, isn't that everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I think
mean,
if
yeah,
we think from the
yeah,
spirit down, right? When we remember we're more
right,
than just our body or our organs, then we treat ourselves differently.
exactly. What were you saying, D?
No, I was just agreeing with you guys for sure.
Yeah.
It's just about awareness overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Sheila was saying, we forget, at least I forget, I'll speak for myself, um, about First Nations around the world, that they've been practicing this for millennia, really, not even centuries, millennia. So we have to tap into that, like ayahuasca, right? Which is a really big thing that's
Mm-hmm.
been resurfacing over the past decade. Some people 20
Mm-hmm.
years more, but the past decade for sure. You know.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm thinking about um, one experience that I had. Have you guys ever done rebirthing?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew she you were gonna.
Well, I mean, I've helped people through rebirthing. I think I've done it myself.
And it just to let people know it's a practice that's based in deep meditation. Sheila, you probably know more about the origins, but it's still in that deep meditation, deep breathing that's
Mhm.
been in part of Eastern philosophies forever.
Mm.
And I remember as I was going through the process and you're doing the breath technique that's part of it, the practitioner who was guiding us through this piece, and again, this was part of my parents' 1-year seminar. This was
Nice.
like 30 years ago.
Right.
They basically kind of forewarned us to say, listen, if you're tasting something a little in your mouth at all, that's just the residual anesthetic that was given to, probably if if you weren't born like through just natural childbirth,
Oh,
and that you were,
interesting.
that you're going to taste that come up because it's it's
Mm.
it's stored in your body as a baby.
Oh,
And I remember that, where as I was breathing, I could literally feel part like my tongue kind of go a little bit numb, and I could taste it, and it was just kind of coming out. And I'm like, holy crap,
that's
you know?
cool.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really cool. But um the experience was amazing, and I could literally feel like my lungs and all that have completely expanded and opened up after that experience. I mean, it was truly wonderful. How about you, Sheila? Did you ever go through the process yourself?
No, I really didn't. And I wouldn't say that I know about it as a technique. It's
Hmm.
because I work using all of the energy and the techniques that I've learned, and I
Right.
combine them with
Yeah.
meditation and spiritual guidance. So people have sort of led themselves to that birthing process while on my table. And then I keep, when it goes that direction, I follow spirit to help them through it. So it's not using the technique, but it's
Right.
powerful for people,
Oh
Yes.
my God.
when they do it. I also had once early on when I was teaching somebody go through a past death and started going into convulsions on my table. And she
Wow.
was freezing to death in her memory. And
Hmm.
I remember sitting there new into the field going, what happened? But I stayed faithful and and she went through the process and came back healed from it.
Yes.
Wow. Well, there's so many. I mean, everybody, I mean, there's so many different practices. We're only going to have time to kind of go through a few of them
Mhm.
this hour.
Mhm.
But, I want everybody to kind of stay tight, stay right there. We're going to do more, and we're going to talk more about taking your wellness to another level. Um, and, I think we're going to tackle something that I think people may or may not know much of, and that is Reiki. And what's cool is both Sheila and D'Angelo are certified Reiki masters. So we're going to be able to talk deeply about that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about taking our wellness to another level right here on This Morning with Soulivity. We'll be right back.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, We will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices, and together we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by my very special friends, Sheila Applegate and D'Angelo Thompson. And we're talking about taking wellness to another level. And one of those ways is that we want to kind of highlight today is Reiki. And both of you are Reiki masters. So this is so exciting for me. First of all, I'll ask both of you, what led you to become a Reiki master? And I'll go to you, Sheila, first.
So I was in a metaphysical Christian church at that time and studying through meditation and learning through that. And most people had Reiki. And so we were learning different metaphysical, really kind of like the mystery school stuff. But a lot of my friends were teaching Reiki or doing Reiki. So I just sort of moved along with it. And it was great raising my kids too. I started my training before my kids were born. So they've been raised with that energy and using it themselves since they were little.
Wow. What about you, Dee?
I think for me, it's interesting, Sheila and Brian. I used to I sketch and I draw and paint, etc. So I used to draw this symbol, right? For years. Let's say 30 years, I used to draw this symbol.
Wow.
And never understood what it was until in 2020 when I was pretty much bored, honestly, and trying to figure out, okay, I need to just expand my mind. So I started taking classes, and the symbol was Shokure, which is one of the Reiki symbols.
Wow.
So
That's
I believe often we're being led and pulled towards something, and I was being pulled towards this decades ago and had no idea.
Wow.
I love that.
Yes.
Wow. Talk about just energetic synergy for you. Now, for and I'll go to you, Dee, first. For people who don't know what Reiki is and want to know more about it, how do you describe it to people who may be like doing a session for the first time?
I would say in layman's terms, it's energy. And it's not necessarily the Reiki master that's healing you or helping you. It's actually your own energy being channeled to work through whatever your ailments are or your mental, whatever's going on with you. That's how I see it. Sheila, what are your thoughts?
So I see it as universal life energy. It's the energy that we're all made up of, or the life force that is within everything. And as a Reiki practitioner, we open up to that energy and let it flow through us and into the other person. It's intelligence, so we're just the vessel. And then the person receiving, their body, their soul is intelligent and knows how to work with that energy to just allow it to release blockages or fill in areas that need more life force.
Yes, you're like a Jedi. It's like
May the force be with you.
It's a force. Seriously.
It is the force, and it's
Right.
powerful. Yeah.
So how does this work? I mean, Sheila, so I know that we've talked about this. People can be either physically with you or
Yes.
they can be away. So how does that, I mean, give us a quick, like, how does a session start? I mean, what can people kind of expect?
So now I integrate it into my other sessions.
Okay.
But if we want to speak just of Reiki for if you were going in person for a traditional Reiki session, the person would have a Reiki table, which is basically a meditation table that's up higher for comfort. And then they open up, and like D'Angelo said, they might be using some symbols that we draw over the body. for different energies and reasons. And then you put your hands on or above the person, and the person receiving usually feels it as heat or tingling energy. And it may take them deep into relaxation right there. Or sometimes when they sit up, they're like, oh, whoa. And then it continues to work in your body the changes can be permanent, but it continues to flow through you for 3 days.
Right. Dee, what about you? What can people expect in terms, like, is it in addition to what Sheila says, a little different?
It's the same, and also I will add, you can put crystals in the room as well to also move the energy around. And oftentimes they tell you to have water readily available once the session is over, because you'll feel dehydrated in some capacity. I know when I had it for the first time before I started practicing, a friend came over, Yurka Espinoza, and she did healing on me. I thought she was putting hot rocks on my back.
Right.
I mean, literally, it felt like she had put rocks somewhere in a fire and put them on my back. I was like, what is going on? I said, can you take those rocks off my back? She's like, D'Angelo, I don't have anything on you. And that's when I understood its power, you know? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what are the benefits of going through this process?
Healing. That's the word I could use.
Yeah, it really, because it's intelligent, it will work at whatever level the person's ready to receive it. And it can be emotional or physical.
I was going to ask
I've had
that.
people say that I healed them of cancer. I don't claim that, but the Reiki.
Right.
But I mean, people have given me, given their sessions that respect to feel that it made the difference for them. But we aren't directing what happens. We're just allowing it to happen.
Exactly.
I remember in one session I had, it was very apparent that I was going through some emotional healing at this time, because man, the tears were just coming out of my eyes. And it was funny because I felt it in my heart and I felt the tears, but it wasn't like painful at all. It was just kind of like the energy, that block had gotten broken and disintegrated, and now I was releasing that energy from my body, and it was wonderful. I mean, I felt really, really light, really, really free. I was also very thirsty.
Yeah.
But in the end, you mentioned the fact that you had water, because the person who did it had water right there, and but it was an amazing session. So I would tell people that this is another way of taking wellness to another level, and we're going to talk more about this in the next segment. We're going to talk about maybe something that you didn't know was a therapy, but herbal remedies, herbal like teas and different things are also part of wellness and a part of ancient histories in terms of modalities of Eastern medicine specifically. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available
for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. And Sheila, you had something you want to say to our audience.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the example I said where the person went through a near-death experience on my table and say, it's not usually that scary. She wasn't scared. It's really, Reiki is gentle. That was someone who was dealing with that, went into it, knew what she was doing, and we held space for her. But you're going to experience it at the level that you're ready for, and it really is a gentle experience. Just wanted
Thank
to
you
make
for
that
that.
clear.
Right. Thank you for that. Thank
Can
you
I
for
add
that
something
clarification.
there?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, D'Angelo.
Oftentimes too, they fill out a form before you start, so you kind of know what they're going through. If they're very honest about maybe they're experiencing some kind of trauma or have had a past life regression or some form of hypnosis. Those are things you need to find out before actually doing Reiki sessions. So yeah, so like Sheila said, you have to know exactly what the client needs and what they're going through.
Yeah.
Right. Want to start this next segment with this from goodnet.org. Says Chinese medicine strongly believes in the healing properties of particular herbs for the body, according to research published in Drug Discovery and Evaluation. This is a part of the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. Practitioners use a combination of different herbs to create an overall balance within the body. So I'm going to ask you again. I probably already know the answer to this. Have you both used herbal therapies before?
Yes.
Not as much
Yes.
for me, no.
So Sheila, which herbs have you used?
Well, I've used different herbs along the way. And again, I've worked with, because I'm near and involved with the Haudenosaunee community, so it would be more of the indigenous people from America that I've worked with. So those would be herbs like cedar tea I've used, and chaga. Those are from, our land right here. I've also used some other herbs like other people have. But so I guess I can't give you specifics like along the way. I've tried different things. One thing I do want to say is you need to take it seriously. And if you are on medications, you need to make sure there isn't a contradiction to it. Because a lot of times people will,
Absolutely.
use herbs thinking, oh, well, it's gentle, it's nature, but it still has an impact, and the amount you use has an impact, and things can contradict each other. So you want to really take time to be aware when you are using them.
Exactly.
Absolutely. One of the things that I was going to say about all of this, at the end, but I can say it now, and that is, listen, if you're considering any of these therapies, please talk to your doctor, talk to certified, noted professionals before you start any type of regimen. And then even if you're going through something, if you find that you're going through something serious, please do not wait, dial 911 and get some support for yourself immediately, because there could be interactions that you're not aware of.
Exactly.
Here's some I was going to say, here's some herbs that I think people may or may not know that they're using today and that are like mainstream, but they're also, they have common uses. So like echinacea, right? Echinacea is everywhere now, right?
Right.
It's in every cold medicine.
Oregano.
Right. And this is often used
Oregano,
this is often used to strengthen the body's immune system. Echinacea is also considered a prevention against colds and the flu. And in the U.S. native plant is also called purple coneflower. So, garlic. I mean, I can't live without garlic in the kitchen, right? Can you guys? I mean, that's like
herbs.
Yeah. I mean, man, that's like, garlic is generally used for cardiovascular conditions, including high cholesterol and triglyceride levels associated with the risk of atherosclerosis. Ginkgo biloba. I mean, come on. I mean, everybody knows about ginkgo now.
Right.
This herb is used for many conditions associated with aging, including poor circulation and memory loss. And then I think the one that I think everybody has had at some point in their life is green tea. I mean, it's so funny because green tea is everywhere now. This herb is used to combat fatigue, prevent certain cancers, lower cholesterol, and aid in weight loss. So, I mean, I just bring all this up because there's things that maybe you're taking in your body that are number one, perfectly safe, and that have these health benefits that you probably didn't know about, and that they're old. I mean, these things are really, really old. They've been used for a long, long, long time. So, Dee, I'll go back to you. So you probably have had more herbs than you thought you did, right?
I was just typing to you guys private message. Yes, of course, garlic, oregano, echinacea. So the answer would be yes. And I use mushrooms a lot as well. I drink mushroom coffee now. I don't drink coffee as much.
Too. Yeah.
I drink it only on Sundays. So it's mushroom coffee every day now. And it makes a difference. My level of energy, it's definitely there, but it's not as, I don't crash like I would with coffee, know? So yes, there's many types of alternatives to staying healthy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just like we were talking about before, especially since both of you are practitioners of some of these Eastern philosophies of wellness, I don't want to call them medicine because it's not like, again, Eastern philosophies are about prevention, right? They're about proactive, staying healthy, staying whole, and preventing yourself from going into disease, right? Disease.
And it also can help when you have disease,
Right.
right? Like it does help with things that.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And so I want to pick your brains, both of your brains, around, what do we need to know before we start? What are some of the things that you do when you're evaluating a new client that's coming in for a Reiki session or a light session or energy session with you guys? And so I'm going to pick your brains on that. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about taking wellness to the next level in your life. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Cool.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose, Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by my beautiful coach, Sheila Applegate and D'Angelo Thompson. We're talking about taking our wellness to the next level. And I wanted to make sure that before anyone starts, any of these new treatments or therapies, that they get some expert advice on things to think about before you start them. So Sheila, I'll go to you first. What are some of the things that you do when you're taking a new client on for, like your energy session or anything like that? What are some of the questions that you ask?
Um, I don't really ask questions before an energy. I'm
Right.
not doing energy sessions anymore. So I explain to
Oh,
them
okay.
the process. Like I said, I do the soul connection. It is still a
Right.
healing, but it's the conscious meditation, which combines hypnotherapy, guided meditation, and energy work. So I explain the
Hmm.
process to them, and then we
Right.
go from discover what it is that they're looking for. But I
Gotcha.
would say that the important things that I would tell people to come into it is stay empowered. Look
Hmm.
for whether you feel empowered in the session. Be free to ask questions. And just like we sometimes, I know I feel like when I go into the doctors in the mainstream medicine, I'll get taken down a funnel of, oh, now you got to do this and this. And I feel like I lose my power. So
Mm.
watch for that in both places. If you're feeling, you should feel empowered. You should feel safe to ask any questions. The process should be explained to you. And you should have given, they should have asked you where you're starting, where you're coming from, and what you want to achieve.
Mm.
Wow.
What about you, do?
I would say first, a person has to be open to it, right? And
Right.
do your research. Like whether you're seeing a doctor or alternative forms of healing, do your research before going in. So if they have questions, I'm open to that, and I'll guide them along the way. I've been trained like Sheila in hypnosis and many things, but I use all of them to
Mhm.
open the person up to their own truth. That's really what I think I'm here for in this realm, is to show people a mirror. Like, here, see yourself, see what you're doing, see how you can heal and move forward. So
Absolutely.
educating yourself and doing your research, and then being open to whatever's before you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just a couple of things, um, I went online and was looking at, and I want to say, I keep hearing this word of traditional Chinese medicine, but it's really Asian medicine or Eastern medicine.
Yes, yes.
It's just not,
Yeah.
it's just not Chinese. I mean, I think that that's been something that has been marketed that way.
Right.
But it's really Asian and Eastern.
And Reiki is
Um,
Japanese.
exactly,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, it's just these Eastern philosophies. So I would ask people, don't get hung up on like the terminology per se, but just the
Right.
name. Um, and so I would also say this, and this comes from the National Institutes of Health, where they're saying before you consider any of these Eastern philosophies, be sure to discuss it with your healthcare practitioners, and don't use these to replace, or more importantly, delay seeking conventional care, especially if you're going through a health challenge. Additionally, if you have a health condition, talk to your healthcare provider before you start using some of these products, right? I mean, that's probably some really sound advice here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Additionally,
If you trust your healthcare provider.
right, if you trust your healthcare provider, which is another good point here, right? I mean, I think a lot of times people aren't as discerning about who they go to see. right? Even if they're seeking help from people who are more grounded in Western philosophies, like if you go into a hospital or clinic that's in your local area, do your research. I mean, D'Angelo, that's so important.
Yeah.
The primary care physician that I have is versed in both Western and Eastern philosophies, and is on point, tells me how to use both. The Western philosophies come in when, maybe you're going through something in distress, and the Eastern piece is helping a bit, but it's not getting you to the point of relief. And so,
Mhm. Mhm.
you seek out that support, and he's able to give that. So be discerning, look for people who maybe have the blend that you're looking for, that, to Sheila, your point, what's your energy?
Right.
How do you feel inside intuitively about who you're seeing, and that kind of
Right.
thing. I think a great show for us to do would to bring on Dr. Mark Mancola, who's
Mm.
actually doing 8-week cohorts on the Aspire Academy about this specific subject, which is
Mhm.
taking Eastern philosophies and of wellness and healing, and bringing them into the forefront. I would love to have you guys kind of do a round robin with him. I think that would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's great. Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, any kind of, additional thoughts on, like, what people need to consider before they start any kind of regimen like this?
I think you've given very good advice about just owning your power and doing the research and being open
Yeah.
by any means necessary, right? If you want to have
Right.
a whole life and a healthy life, it will take lots of knowledge, and we can't be passive about it, or, if I can use the word, lazy about it. We have to really engage.
Right. What about you, Sheila?
Well, I'd like to clarify that I said I don't do energy healing sessions. I do fractal illumination gatherings, which we have one coming up this weekend.
Yes.
And it has to do with, that's an energy that came directly through me and my partner, Zach. But the big shift in it is that it's not considered a healing. It's considered an upgrade or an activation to help you
Mm.
harmonize with the changing energies of the world. So I've really shifted over the years to seeing that we already are whole and complete beings.
Yes.
And so the energy work I do is more to remind us of that and to get in our physical self in alignment with the truth of who we are.
Absolutely. And speaking of, relaxation and the truth of who we are, we want to let everybody know about our new product sponsor,
Yeah.
which is Moon Pod. These things are great, y'all. This is the revolution of the beanbag chair. D'Angelo and Sheila, I know you guys remember beanbag chairs back in the day.
I
But
don't.
he said, I don't. But these are new. They're really, really uber comfortable, really durable. And you can find out more information by going to our This Morning website at
Wow.
soulivity.com/this-morning. You can also join our mailing list and find out more information. And you actually would get a discount if you click on the link that's there. I think it's another 10% or so.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. This was a great show. I'm glad that we talked about this, because I think that, again, it's something that people don't really talk about a lot. And that they get a little uncomfortable with discussing, like, well, I don't know if I should do this alternative healing practice. Is it going to work, and all that kind of thing? Do you guys, what are your kind of final thoughts about all of this? And the D, I'll go to you first.
Just really be open. I know for me, the more that I explore, the more I learn, the healthier I am. And just not being, as I said before, passive in my health, in my wellness, and my mental health, physical and spiritual health. So just being very proactive. That's my best advice.
Sheila, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if you notice yourself resisting something, then maybe there's a limiting belief in it, or maybe your soul's just saying no. And there's a difference. If you can face it, you can look at it, you can explore it, and then still say it's not for you, then it's not. But if you push through that initial hesitation and explore, find out about it, learn from, the internet, from friends who have experienced it and it resonates with you, it really can't do any harm. Reiki can't harm you. That one
Right.
I can tell you for sure. That can't
Right.
harm you. We have to be cautious when we ingest things, but Reiki energy is only for the good. And so why not try it?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Dee, you had a story of a friend of yours that wasn't didn't really believe in it, and then you did a session.
And it was a
And
distance, so he was in New York, I was in LA, and he had gone through a kind of botched surgery. Not gives too much of his personal information, but we did it, and he felt the energy. We focused on the area, and he was like, "Oh my God, I feel this, and I feel better, and the pain is relieved." And of course, he went and finished the surgery, but I think it opened him up even more. And I don't think he even consciously realized it,
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
I had an incident like that when we first started fractal illumination. It was our first time trying it long distance. And our friend's father was in a coma and they didn't know why. And Zach and I sat down at her request and sent him fractal illumination. And she didn't know when we were doing it. But just as we finished, she called and said that he had just woken up. And he woke up and started talking like nothing happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Power.
Wow.
So these things are real,
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
speaking of fractal illumination, why don't you tell people about what's coming up? You're on the 25th.
So on the 25th, which is in just a couple of days, it's from 1 to 5 Eastern time. We do an in-person gathering. So if you're local or nearby the Syracuse area, we'd love to have you join us in person in a cozy cabin house. It's more than a cabin that overlooks beautiful woods, and there'll be snow out, so it'll be gorgeous. And it's just a day where we do 4 activations of this energy that can help you. What I just described, it can help you physically, emotionally, and spiritually, but it aligns you with the changing energy. If you notice our world is chaotic right now and you're trying to get a handle on it, feel it, we need that upgrade of our own energy in order to harmonize with it and make things smoother. And that you can also attend long distance. It's not virtual, but you can spend your time receiving that energy from a distance. People have been doing that as well and really feel the benefit.
But we're going to make sure that we put that link in our chat so that people can learn more about it. Dee, what's coming up with you? What's going on?
Well, I shared with you guys, Brian, I'm sure you got it. It's 25 to 27 gratitude affirmation cards, and I'm giving them to everyone for free. It's from my book, 100 Days of Gratitude, but I wanted to share at least 25 things that I think within the book that are really beautiful and inspiring. You put it on your phone, you put it on your laptop. So I'm sure they can check here at Soulivity for it.
Sweet. I love it. These are so cool.
Yeah,
these are so cool.
I want those.
I'll send them to you, Sheila.
Thanks. And so we want to end with letting you guys know, listen, another great Consciously Awesome Living is coming up at 12 noon today with Sheila. She talks about so many different parts of how to manifest your best life today. You're so good, Sheila.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also coming up tomorrow at 12 noon is another Steps to Happiness with Teresa Greco. She has some fantastic guests that talk about all the ways that you can create a life of happiness in your life. Of course, D'Angelo, gratitude is a journey is so awesome with so many different great interviews around the seen and unseen blessings of gratitude. And of course, coming up next Monday is another Tammy Talks at 12 noon right here. All the shows are right here on Soulivity TV. Again, please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Also go to our soulivity.com this morning page where you can sign up for our mailing list, where you can get even more exclusive content and learn more about everything that we're doing here at Soulivity. So, wow, guys, parting is such sweet sorrow, you know. But again, I think this was an important show, important topic, something that I think everybody can really benefit from, and you know, and gain more insight about how they can keep themselves well and happy. I still, it's so funny because when we were creating this show, and we're like, oh well, we're going to talk about health and wellness. I completely forgot that both of you were Reiki masters. You know,
But your soul remembered.
but my soul remembered. Let your soul know.
Right.
Man. So listen, remember, everybody, we love you. We appreciate you. Please let us know how we're doing, what you would like for us to talk about. You can always send us an email or send us a text message or direct message on any of our social media platforms, because we are here to serve you. And on behalf of all of us here, I want to say thank you for joining us for another great episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen at 9 a.m. Pacific on KMET 1490 AM on Thursdays and Fridays for all of you out on the West Coast. Until next time, keep having real conversations that empower you. Keep living a life full of passion, purpose, and create a high quality life today. Bye-bye now.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.